Most businesses are throwing money at ads, but they're throwing money at the wrong problem. Stop wasting your money on ads. You have to map your customer journey first. See, most businesses waste money on ads before they even think about mapping their customer journey. Now, you're probably thinking, well, why is that important and what even is a customer journey? Well, a customer journey is basically what happens when your customer interacts with your products or services and even with your company. From the first impression to the first contact to eventually buying your products or services, that is the customer journey. Now, most businesses can tell you about their marketing programs, can tell you about how much money they spend on ads, can tell you about all the problems that they have in their business, but they can't tell you their customer journey. So in this video, we're going to cover the importance of the customer journey and why you should be mapping it and how to map it over just spending money on paid ads. So who am I? My name is Javier Tabet and I've been running Capital Edge Media now for over 2 years, an agency that helps business owners like yourself scale their businesses using paid ads and marketing techniques. Now in this video, we're going to be covering why you don't need paid ads and why you should map out your customer journey. So it's a bit of a contrary video, but it's super important for you as a business owner. So the biggest problem that I see when people start running paid ads is they think just because they're spending money, it's going to get the money back in. Now, here's the problem. Most people don't understand that you have to build trust in the marketplace when you're running paid ads. This causes the money that you're spending on ads to have not only one, ad fatigue, but also have a low retention of those customers and to have very high cost per clicks and cost per lead. This leads to most business owners saying, oh, well, paid ad doesn't work for me. It's not my thing. My business is different. I'm special. But the case is that you don't have enough trust in the marketplace or you're not running ads correctly. So now that we know what the main problem with paid ads are, how does that relate to actually mapping out the customer journey and improving your sales and making more money mapping it out? So for context here, I once ran an ad campaign for a client who was solely convinced that their ads were the problem and they needed to improve their ads to make more sales and make more money. However, once we ran the ads and we tested what was going on, we kind of figured out that customers were clicking on the ad, but they weren't converting. So we're getting a low cost per click, but a high cost per lead. Now, we tried rephrasing the offer, but the main results and the biggest changes we saw is when we rephrased the call to action and made it super clear on the next step in the customer journey. So it goes without saying, once we mapped out the next step in the customer journey, the conversion rates for our client just absolutely skyrocketed. So what this means is that most people, when they're seeing you for the first time or the second time, they don't really care about what your offer is. They care about how they can get it. So before you get excited and go spending money on ads, you need to map out the customer journey. So let's go ahead and uncover the 4 stages of the customer journey. So the first stage in the customer journey is awareness. Now, most people probably understand what I'm talking about here. It's the customer is aware of a problem or a solution that they're currently facing in their lives. Let's take the gym, for example. If we have a person who's a little bit overweight, hasn't been to the gym in over 7 months, they are solution aware and they are looking for a gym to go to get back on track with their health and fitness progress. So what they're looking for when they're scrolling social media are really good gym offers. This is a good example of someone who is aware. They're aware they need to go to the gym, but they're not sure where to go and they haven't been searching for gym memberships online. Now, the second stage is the consideration process. Now, this is where a person is really considering a solution. Makes sense? They are considering going to the gym, signing up, and they're probably already looking at a few gyms or they've asked their buddies if they know any really good gyms in the area. Now, the third stage in the customer journey is the decision. This is pretty straightforward. A customer either chooses to call you, register as a lead, or even come down and check out your facilities, your products, or your services. This one's pretty straightforward, but it's not the last one. The last one is the most important stage in the customer journey. And I'm gonna go over, before I get to it, how you can map these out and what questions you should be asking in order to get these stages down for your business. So the last stage in the customer journey is the retention. Now with gyms, it's pretty straightforward. It's retaining your customer through a weekly service fee, as well as having community events, having your equipment, having new classes going on, as well as just having a very friendly and clean environment. But for your business, it might be different. The reason retention is one of the most important stages in the customer journey is because once you have the client, once you have the customer, it's easy to keep them than it is to go ahead and get another one, because the cost to get a customer is higher than it is to keep a customer. So this means that once you retain a customer, you save money and you make more money by just retaining them than you do if you had to go out and replace them. Now you're probably thinking, well, that was a pretty basic overview of a customer journey. How can I apply that to my business? So let's ask ourselves a few questions. So get out your pen and paper a few questions about how we can map out our customer journey. So let's start with the awareness phase. How does a customer find my business? What platforms can people contact my business and get in touch with us? How quickly can that happen? What is the response time from our team? What do people perceive our brand to be? Is our brand perception aligned with who we are and what we sell? Now, let's move on to the consideration phase. Do we have a good offer in the marketplace? Is our offer competitive? Is our offer matching the right season of our industry? Is it the right time for a customer to be spending money in my industry? How can I make my offer more enticing and more irresistible? How can I retarget people who have engaged with my page and engaged with my business and have shown awareness to my offer? Now, let's move on to the decision phase. How can I make it effortless for customers to buy with me? How can I make it effortless for customers to give me more money? How can I break down objections that customers may have? What can I do to ensure that I built the right amount of trust with my customer? Have I asked my customer all the questions they need before they have purchased? Now, keep in mind that not all of these questions will relate to every single business that's watching this video. Some of these questions will be absolutely useless, but some of them will be critical to understanding your customer journey. Now, on to the fourth and the final step, retention. Let's ask ourselves a few questions on how we can improve retention for our customers in our business. Am I getting consistent customer feedback? Does my customer bring me more referrals? What is my average customer retention in months? What value would I need to provide to increase my customer retention? Does my customer absolutely need my product or service, or do they just want it? How can I make my product or service feel like an absolute need for my customer? If you don't guide someone on a customer journey, somebody else definitely will, and they will close the client or the customer and make the money you deserve. A well-designed customer journey makes everything easier. It makes your ads, your emails, your follow-ups, your phone calls 100 times easier, and it allows you to get customers through the door on autopilot, knowing exactly how and where they're coming from and where you need to spend money. So if you found this video valuable, I'd appreciate if you hit the like button and subscribe, and let me know in the comments if you have any struggles in your marketing funnels you'd like to hear solved next.